Welcome to Opinions Like A-Holes, everybody, your favorite pop culture podcast where we have opinions and most of them stink. My name is Michael Zampino. With me, as always, is Hilton Price.
And I am a hero. I am a hero walking amongst you.
A superhero?
Someone who makes the world better. I was driving here this morning, down Harvard here in beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma. Harvard Avenue. Coming up on 41st Street, relatively busy intersection.
Yep.
There's a grocery store right there, a lot of businesses.
New Mango?
About to open, I think.
It's open now?
I may have to stop there.
The New Mango cannabis.
Do they sell Robot Farmer products?
Not yet.
Fuck them. So I'm about to hit the stoplight, and I'm in the right lane. And the right lane, of course, the left lane is just going straight. The right lane is you can either go straight or you can turn right. I'm the front car in the right lane. And at the last second, I quickly, looking first, because you got to always check, I look and then I jump over to that left lane, freeing up the right lane should someone want to make a right turn. Right?
Man.
And immediately, the first two cars to pull up to that stoplight, now on my right, made that right turn. They would have had to wait minutes.
Upwards of 60 to 90 seconds.
Could have been 90 whole seconds to make that right turn if they had been stuck behind me. I am a hero.
You can turn left, you can turn right from anywhere you want as long as you just believe in yourself.
Well,
and if you have a Jeep, because I can drive over you.
See, and admittedly, the yard right there was small. They could have got up on that curve, cut across that yard, no problem. No problem. What's that voice?
That's the voice of our good friend and return guest, Beau Tyler, everybody.
My name is Beau Tyler. I make music. This is not my studio. And unlike these a-holes, my opinions are amazing.
They're okay. They're all right.
No, it's not your studio.
No, they're right or you're wrong.
That definitely sounds on brand for us.
For sure.
For sure.
Now, not being at your studio, what do you think of the evolution of our studio?
It's the same with more pop dolls.
Yeah, but less bullshit, too. I've got a nicer board.
Clean setup.
Yeah.
Now
we have room for, like, a box of tissues.
I know, you're so adult now.
And, like,
which we have a lot of
ashtrays
between us.
Like, hand sanny. I guess some sanny.
Yeah.
That way you can keep your lungs dirty and your hands clean.
Yeah, it's so I can jerk off with hand sanitizer and then have tissues.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
It does a little bit, but,
because if you, I'm just, all right.
I want it to be
Sloan, turn off the podcast.
Ultra clean, also while getting the job done.
I guess.
I'm sorry, if you thought your daughter was going to listen to this show, we made a mistake. We got to make a different one for that.
Anybody I work with, turn off the podcast.
That's right.
That would be that we need a PG version of the show.
I will say that Eleanor super duper wants to start a podcast now.
Well, we do have a network.
She's obsessed with the idea of starting a podcast. So she drew the other day, she drew a cover art for a podcast
called Opinions Like Beeholes.
No, it was for her and I.
It's the PG version.
Opinions Like Seaholes.
Oh, that got weirder.
F-holes. I thought we were just doing like school grades.
Oh, I see.
A, B.
Opinion Like D-holes?
No, she called it the Zampino Show. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it was me and her. And she drew both of us.
I'm about to be replaced. I'm so about to be replaced.
No, it's just a new show.
Well, it could be about like how nice her daddy is, and it's called like Zampinas. Zampinis.
That sounds like something else entirely.
Pronunciation is going to be very important.
Yes. That's like the 30. Are you a 30 Rock guy? You ever watch 30 Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jenna Maroney, she had she wanted people to come to her side of the aisle, so she had her website genocide.com. And Liz is like, just say it out loud.
God, I love wordplay like that. It's so fun.
I've decided anytime you say something that I'm afraid of being attached to, I'm going to say your address out loud, and then you'll have to edit it out.
What is that? A portmanteau? Is that
when you put two words together?
Yeah.
That's a portmanteau.
Yeah.
You're just skipping over his threat.
Word.
That was good.
That's a fun word.
That is a fun word.
Francisco.
That's fun to say. Yeah. I'm gonna try and use portmanteau in a sentence naturally in the next week.
Yeah, just go for it.
Which the only way to do that only way to use that naturally in a sentence is to point out when someone has used one, and then you look like a fucking idiot. You're like, oh, that was a portmanteau, and then they're like, cool, dickhead, thank you.
There's not even like an easy way to like work it into like language where it sounds like that word, but you're really saying something else.
Right.
Like if I can't.
Do you need to go down to, we got to pick up a shipment from the Port of Catoosa, the portmanteau?
Yeah. See, no, that doesn't quite work.
No, it doesn't.
I have a question. I want to test something out real quick.
Hit it.
Everyone will go 1, 2, 3, and then say it, not on 3.
Okay.
I want to hear everyone's favorite word.
Oh.
Portman-Beau got me on like a whole little mental journey there while you guys were talking weird. Hold on, wait.
Okay.
Don't think about it.
Okay.
Just follow your heart. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Bilateral.
Poontang.
Well, I didn't hear shit.
You said bilateral?
I did. Hey,
You
wow.
said poontang.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. It needs to come back.
I said butthole.
That's a good one, too.
If there's no,
I-
it's the most passive aggressive way to address someone's lameness in a way that makes them laugh rather than get mad at you. Is if you say like, "Dude, you're being such a poontang right now." Like people are like, "I am being a poontang. I'm sorry."
My words sucked.
Bilateral. What's funny is like I definitely
Parallel.
I definitely
That's a good one, too.
I definitely only thought of the moment where Ron is typing out all of his favorite words.
America.
Yeah.
Butthole.
That's one of the best bits in all of Parks and Rec.
Yeah, he gets a new typewriter.
I'm gonna type every word I know. Yeah, they're like trying to get rid of it because it's super loud, and he's typed on there like, if any of you a-holes try to get rid of this typewriter, I'll kill you. And then he comes back and he's like, I'm gonna type every word I know.
So I love The Office too. You were telling me I never knew before the other night what an
The sequel?
I never knew.
Oh, The Office as well.
the good one, not the prequel.
They're both amazing.
Yeah, I guess.
One's just amazing with an accent.
One would have been amazing, but they had the original didn't hit that stride. It wasn't long enough.
Yeah, but the argument could be made that it's a completely different stride in the UK than it is in America.
It was they used
It's
the
a
exact
perfect
same
show in
script for
America.
6 episodes.
Yeah.
I watched an interview about it. They read off the same script.
It's a
It
different
was Rain
stride.
talking about it the other day.
It's a different stride because Britain has the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Yeah. They didn't
anyways.
have Rainn Wilson. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's true.
The greatest season of The Office, or the greatest, or I'm not talking about the better show, or the greatest season of Parks and Rec.
Which would I take? Oh, The Office every time.
Really?
Yeah, hands down.
Oh, The Office, hands down every time. Because my attachment to The Office is so much deeper than Parks and Rec. Like,
My attachment to Aubrey Plaza is unhealthy.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
You should seek therapy about that.
I shouldn't. They would say good job.
Yeah.
Good taste.
Or you would be
Yeah.
in jail.
Yeah. They,
Well,
They would be like, you need a restraining order.
It's okay. It's not like that.
every
You did say unhealthy.
Something about being a dad changes the way I look at a lot of that things. Like I don't look at Aubrey Plaza and I'm like, I want her. I would look at Aubrey Plaza and I'm like, I hope my daughter's that weird in that such a great way, and I would love to be her friend.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you keep saying that.
But no, the Office.
Or you know,
Or should one thing lead to another?
That's like Walton Goggins. Let's just do a hard pivot. Walton
All
Goggins.
right.
yeah, good job.
Walton Goggins in Dreamin' Wild. We watched a trailer.
I forgot that he sometimes does not comedy, which is like pretty much where I think he came from. Not comedy. He came from doing like more regular movies. Walton Goggins is the guy. Have you watched any of the
Click on
Danny
his
McBride stuff?
link. Yeah,
He's
I'll get
like
you there.
in Vice Principals and Righteous Gemstones.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And he's
Yeah.
So you could go to
amazing.
his picture.
Oh, so
That's what I was saying.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in everything.
He's in is it
Hateful
the Hateful Eight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Django Unchained, Lincoln.
He is in
Ant-Man
Django
and the Wasp.
Unchained, isn't he?
Yes. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
Is he one of the guys that gets shot really early on in the movie?
No, he's pretty. I think he stays in pretty late in the movie, if I remember.
When does he
correctly.
come into Righteous Gemstones? Because I just
seen
restarted
that.
season 1.
Pretty early on, like
Okay,
in
cool.
season 1. Yeah,
Great,
he's
cool.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Okay.
I will say, his parts in Vice Principals and Righteous Gemstones are two of the best comedic performances in comedy series that I've ever seen. He fucking steals every scene. He's so fucking genuinely hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking good. I just recently rewatched Vice Principals in its entirety, and I loved it even more.
He somehow like possesses at the exact same time the appearance of what you imagine an inbred bootlegger from West Virginia in like 1927.
I think that's why he gets
And
cast in a lot of that
and
period
also,
pieces.
he's super handsome.
Right?
I don't know how he's
Yeah.
both of those things at the same time, but that must allow him to stretch his acting.
It does.
Insane.
A lot of people
it
don't
kinda
know-
does because he can really do characters because of that.
Yeah, I'm serious. It's
Well-
like it's the Giovanni Ribisi thing.
And society has propagandized falsely the unattractiveness of inbred 1920s bootleggers. They were all incredibly handsome
Listen,
men.
we don't judge you. We
sorry
don't
about your
judge you.
grandpa.
Leave my family
Sorry about your
alone.
No, but you're absolutely right. I think that could be a lot of why he gets cast in a lot of like Lincoln, Django, Hateful Eight, those like period pieces.
He's not like a traditionally handsome man.
Look at him. Look at him right there. He's got the jaw. He's got the
looking.
nose. No, he's a good looking guy too. It's just like he can scrunch that face up, and he's a totally different dude.
Funny,
yeah.
He's so genuinely funny in those shows.
Yeah, he's got a massive forehead though.
You ever feel like the best actors are so?
He's got a forehead like a 14-year-old Hilton. I'm not gonna lie.
You ever feel like the best actors are so good that you obviously notice them? You don't really notice them until 5 movies later because they were blending into the movie so well.
That's what this guy was.
Some other guy may have been like stealing the scene with big actions, but here they were just playing their part perfectly.
Yep. I only know about him because Mike's been man crushing on him for a couple years now. So
he's so good.
Yeah, he's really good. He's
incredible.
I'm not judging.
He looks like he was a guitarist in an early 2000s booty rock band.
Oh, I could
rock
could say grunge band too. Like
post grunge. Flirting with pop, but doing it heavily.
Okay, yep.
Maybe he even played bass in Limp Bizkit.
What's the band? The called you up, I put my car out on the lawn.
He's totally the singer of Lit.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I love that I didn't quite know the words to that, but I got through it.
Yeah.
Something about a car and a lawn.
I have a friend who...
that song is like the white trash anthem now.
That song's amazing. Listen. It's amazing in a bad way. I have a friend who I've been playing music with.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm right. He's wrong. Opinions like a-holes, great opinions. I have a friend who I've been playing music with since I was 14.
Yeah?
Who did my first recordings with him. We're still friends, and our relationship largely exists around, here's an album we used to listen to that we've both forgotten about. And he sends me the Lit album, and he goes, I don't think we all remember how many hits were on this. And I go, okay.
Wow.
And I listened to the album, and I was like, oh, we remember My Own Worst Enemy, but do you remember the You Make Me Come?
Yep.
Right? You make me complete. Great turn. Then they do it 3 times. You make me completely miserable. And I was listening to that whole album. I was like, oh, it's like Eve 6. You forget that they have like 20 hits. Mm-hmm. Although I love Eve 6.
I do love Eve 6.
I love Eve 6.
I have no opinion of Eve 6, good or bad. But I will say that I think fans of Lit have done to me what fans of Tool have done.
Do Lit
Tool.
really have fans though? Like I always thought of them as like a pop culture band.
Okay,
like they just had kind of
they're like the new
Hold on.
Radicals. We just all know.
Let me rephrase it.
Radicals were amazing.
Let me rephrase it. Hold on.
I do love that song.
Give me a second. Let me say it different.
Yeah, it was all right.
The way people react to a cover band playing Lit and the people who get really excited about a cover band playing
it's just
Lit has
like,
made me hate Lit.
Well, it's because they're an embodiment of a time that those people were 17.
Yeah.
Nah, because they're way too old. They're way too old. I'm talking
They were
about
never
these are
17.
like people in my mom's era.
Oh,
They're
wow.
like
Okay.
pumped up at the
I
anxiety
refuse.
shows.
I refuse any longer in my life to judge the quality or how I perceive music based on the fans of that band. I feel like it's at some point I was like, all right, that was funny when I was younger. Now I'm being a prick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
and it was
I'm
also
gonna
it was
listen to Tool,
costing.
but I'm not going to tell people I like Tool because of Tool fans.
Well, it's either way. I mean, for me, I realized there was a lot of good music I was missing out on a long time for the way people perceived them. So, like,
Yes,
I'm not
for real.
sure I ever would have started making rock music unless friends who at the time, and you don't realize it until you're removed and you remember the things they said, who were absolutely just like racism baked in, made me feel bad for how much I loved hip hop as a kid.
Oh, for sure.
And then I go into a phase where like there's 4 or 5 years where I'm like, I hate hip hop. And really I was just trying to like fit in with people with stupid opinions who were all echoing other stupid opinions, and no one knew where the stupid opinion came from.
I remember hearing,
I was a teenager
I
too.
do not remember who specifically said it to me, but in middle school, I remember a kid saying to me, I can't believe you like that black music.
Oh God.
And me being like, what the fuck?
Oof, yeah.
Yeah. And then I liked it even harder.
Good for you.
We the Ghost was just me going like, how do I bring in the music I actually like to this rock music that people expecting me? Mm-hmm. So our first album was called White Noise.
Yeah.
And so the second album, it was all a setup. I wanted to call it Black Music. At the time, because like that's what we were influenced. And I was making a reference to like all of the greatest like white music in history was stealing someone's black music. Whether it was
Absolutely.
Elvis, Well, Elvis stole from Chuck Berry and his vibe. The Beatles at least like paid homage to it every second they could get and gave him all the credit publicly in the world. They didn't hide that influence away. But you take
That's fair.
any of this music and it was taken from that. So all I wanted to do with the record was very openly pay love to the music I really loved. And I thought white noise, black music. And our manager at the time was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm like, but it's not racist. He's like, but all they'll read is the title. And I'm like, I don't care. But he's like, I'm paying for the album. This isn't happening. So that kind of got shut down. I don't know. I refuse to. That's why you don't like U2.
In retrospect, what do you think? Do you think it was the right decision, or do you wish you'd still gone through with it?
No, I think it was a pointless decision. Now that I look back at it, I don't see the point of. I don't want to shock people into listening to my album or confusing them into listening to my album, because either way, they're not going to get what they expected. And as soon as people have an expectation, you've already failed them before they listen to the first song. And it wasn't going to like.
Dang, I was going to name my first solo album Really Kick-Ass Album.
No, that's a good name, though. That's fun.
Good.
Michael Zampino.
You just have a really
Kick-Ass
bad
album.
cover to go with it, and they'll be like, I sense irony on the way.
No, I'll let Eleanor draw the cover.
You save it for the greatest hits,
Oh, yeah.
because at that point you get to be wacky
My
and weird.
first album will just be called Michael Zampino's Greatest Hits.
You know what we ended up naming the album out of kind of
Spite?
Out of spite was like, I was like, cool, I'll name it the most like on the nose thing of what it is. And we named the album A Stereophonic Listening Experience.
Oh, yeah, I
because
remember
that's what
that.
used to be on like the cover of albums. It would say that. And then we, rather than having anyone draw the album, I went and found a friend who was, he's not listening, a terrible painter. But that made it kind of good. And I was like, paint our faces. And it was so bad. And I was like, that's the album cover.
Nice.
It's like laid it down on the driveway and took a picture and sent it to our label.
Hell yeah.
I love
Here
the
you
title. I love the title though.
Yeah, it grew on me too.
Yeah. It grew on you too. I get it. So yeah, Walton Goggins in a new movie about what we thought might have been a member of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but
Yeah, no.
probably not.
I just don't know anything about
Still
Joe
don't
Emerson.
know?
Yeah.
Still don't know. Or Donnie Emerson, who seemed to be the driving force of the musical
exactly.
duo.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I didn't know them as a unique musical duo for sure. So, but yeah, several albums, and this is one of those movies, Dreamin' Wild, that strikes me as something where I'm going to learn about something that I don't know and fall in love with the people behind it along the way.
I feel like this
You know?
movie, based on the trailer, could also be called Almost Famous.
100%. That's the
Almost
type
It
of
did
Famous,
have
too.
a little bit of
Yep.
like Almost Famous vibe.
I
Yeah.
didn't just mean that. I mean they were musicians who were brilliant, who weren't famous, and then they got
yeah.
famous later. Almost, you know.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Gotcha.
yeah, right, yeah.
But no, like it's some of the like the
It was a joke.
yeah, no, I get
It
it.
just wasn't.
asshole.
It wasn't a good one.
I was trying to let it slide. It gave me that kind of feel of like that movie, the I don't know, the wonder behind the making of the music and like how much you can love something like, you know what I mean? I don't
Very,
know.
very different movie, but it struck me as like it would hit me kind of like, was it just called Selena with Jennifer Lopez playing
I almost
Selena?
wore my Selena shirt today.
Right?
Damn it.
Because Selena was an artist who I didn't know much about, but when I saw the movie, not only did I get to learn and fall in love with the music, but also just the characters.
Right.
You know, her band, her, her father.
I love that kind of music.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of family in Mexico down in Guerrero and or Guerrero. And that's what is everywhere, and that's so ingrained into my childhood.
Nice.
I love that. Hey, speaking of music, watch this. I love your Gerard Way Pop doll.
Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of the way you
It's Robert Smith, for those of you not watching this podcast.
He thought I'd get real mad, and then I threw him a curveball.
the way you've come around to Dashboard Confessional is impressive. Is that
I
what
always
he's
liked
from?
Dashboard Confessional. No, that was My Chemical Romance.
They're
It's
good
Gerard
too.
Way.
They're great.
I will tell you, out of any band we ever played with, they were
My Chemical Romance?
They were among the two most surprising groups of people that were so supportive of that scene nationally. Yeah, we played with them in Dallas. Only one show. We didn't tour with them. I had just moved to Dallas, and there was a radio contest with The Edge there, and we thought, well, let's get into it. That would break us into this scene. And it turned out My Chemical Romance was listening to all the submissions, and I would have assumed it was their management, but they came up and talked to me about it. They listened to every submission, and they picked us.
Oh, nice.
And Gerard and his brother, Mikey, the bass player, stood on the side of the stage at Curtain Club and watched until our last song because they had to go back for something in the back room with the band. Watched the whole damn set, and afterwards were just completely kind to us, shouted us out from stage. We were just like really nice and took the time to talk.
That's awesome.
In an authentic way, not like let's go do the FaceTime. Mm-hmm. Let's give him some. Let's give him a memory. Just, I mean, who knows what they became after. This is like when they were blowing up on their second hit off that first big album with all the Rushmore references.
Okay.
But it was, I can never see them as anything but those guys. And it makes me love them.
That's nice.
I've never disliked My Chemical Romance.
What made me realize, I meet
them.
so many bands in that genre where it's like, oh, you guys never even met before this record deal. This is a put on. This is a put together. You're a pop band with eyeliner. Like, seriously, that happens way more. Some people's favorite emo bands are like, this is basically a boy band.
Name one.
Paramore.
5 Seconds of Summer.
Okay.
People like that.
I've never even heard of them.
I mean, they may know each other, but they were like, oh, you guys are punk rock kids who got melodic.
No, they weren't. That's
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I know.
That's Robert Smith. I know, but where it's like, oh, you guys are legit. Like you're making the music you actually love.
Yeah.
With your best friends. That's how. The dream.
Honestly, that's what made me fall so in love with Coheed and Cambria was because like they sort of got pushed into that genre, but they were kind of that genre by default. They're definitely, I look at them as more prog rock than emo for sure.
Yeah.
But what I loved about them was they were like, this is what we're doing. We're telling this story. We're, every album has its thing and it's telling the story of these characters and we are doing it whether it makes it or not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they, and that's what I love so much about
that reminds me of
journey of. As
I had
a band.
years of them ruined for me.
That sucks.
Well, because
they're fucking. Phenomenal.
When I saw them, their only hit at the time was the "Good Eye Sniper." You know that one?
Yeah, Favorite House Atlantic.
And is that what it was called? Mm-hmm. But the problem was, I saw them with the band that they were better than, but they weren't better live, and they knew it, and they gave up. And I was at like the performing phase of my life, so I really judged their professionalism on it. So they made a terrible, 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 terrible mistake of having their main support on that tour be Under Oath in Under Oath's prime. Mm-hmm. On the only Chasing Safety album. And you can love or hate Under Oath, but if you don't understand what Under Oath does live, I've never experienced energy like that in any capacity at any moment in my life. The crowd was packed so tight that when I would get tired, I would just lift my feet off the ground because the crowd was holding me up and I could relax. But I spent almost the entire show with my arms around a girl on the barricade who was going to die. And funny enough, a year later, people died at one of their concerts. A couple years later, because they were trampled to death. Because it's insane. But to follow that energy as Coheed and Cambria, who doesn't move on stage, they don't do that sort of thing. It was such a bad casting of an opener that it made their show so boring that there were maybe 300 people left in this 2,500 seater by the time they were done. And they were so irritated that they weren't playing their set list and they were just having like 3 or 4 minute conversations with each other off mic. And we were all just standing there. And at one point they just like sat their guitars down and like walked off stage to like hang out. And then they came back and played an encore that no one asked for, and it was a cover song they had never rehearsed. And it wasn't punk rock, and it wasn't cool, and it was so off-putting.
Maybe to you. Maybe
no,
it was
nobody
cool
liked it.
else.
There were fans there that loved that band.
Maybe they loved it.
I saw a couple of people take their Coheed and Cambria shirts off. Like it was like they lost a lot.
I'm getting vibes.
It was just one bad night, but it was the only night I got to see them, and I know better now than to judge a band by a bad night.
This is giving me there were people on tops of buildings celebrating 9/11
Yeah.
vibes.
No, it was a real thing.
I'm getting and then everyone clapped vibe off this.
So there were
that's a
probably
shitty
about
reason to never
2,000.
give him another chance.
It was about
at
2,000 people at the beginning of the show, and by the end, you could hear personal conversations happening. Like it was.
Yeah, but if
it
you
was
had one
weird.
show that bad
That's
and somebody
amazing.
never ever gave you another chance,
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I realize now it's ridiculous, but I was like
Yeah.
23 at the time, and all I could see was like,
well, now's the chance.
When
You
that-
would love their new stuff so much, though.
no, of course, and
I genuinely would.
I've listened to all of their music within the last few years. In We the Ghost, our drummer's favorite band was Coheed, and he got me
Their
out of that.
drummer is one
But
of my favorite
imagine you
parts.
go on a bad first date, and the girl's just the worst person you've ever met.
yeah.
That's your vision of her for the rest of your life.
Sure. Yeah.
It was that.
That sucks.
Yeah, that happens. It's and that's the biggest thing that I always hate about introducing someone to anything, whether it's movies, TV, is if you get someone who does not have the patience, is not super open to that, and you happen to get that patch of that song, of that episode, of the beginning of that movie that has that boring 5 minutes, that has that dull little interlude, it can turn somebody off to something so quick. And that's always so frustrating to me.
I feel you. I already really liked Coheed going into that, just off that album.
Yeah.
It was just...
no, I'm not even talking about your experience, but just the idea of how moments of weakness in an otherwise quality product can be so dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
Which is why pilots for TV shows are such a minefield.
Well, that's why it's always such a big conversation of like, if you were getting somebody started on a band, like what would be the first thing you'd play for them?
Yeah.
And that's something you got to think really hard about.
Yeah.
Because you're like, fuck, I got to make the right choice. Otherwise, they might not give them a chance.
I ask them what they're into at the time. And then I try to find the thing that most closely relates to that. Like if I show someone Glassjaw, I don't show them their best songs. I show them Must Have Run All Day, Trailer Park Jesus, or there's 3 songs on that album that are very melodic and slower like that. Must Have Run All Day, Trailer Park Jesus, and I'm not going to show them Ape Dose Mill to start out.
Ooh, that is a really good
It's
one.
a great song, but you cannot introduce someone to Glassjaw.
That's one of the more
way.
melodic ones. I thought that is.
Or am I thinking? I'm thinking
You're
of
thinking
Cosmopolitan Blood Loss. Yeah,
I'm not, is the other.
It's the third one. I'm not going to show them Cosmopolitan Blood Loss. I'm going to show them something melodic so that you can ease into what his voice is.
Yeah.
I might even show them Head Automatica first.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And
have you listened to Color Film?
No, I don't know what that is.
They did one album. It's another Daryl Palumbo side project. They did one album, and it sounds like a new version of like 80s new wave pop. Like,
I love the way he references pop culture, even in like Head Automatica, like musically, the way he spins it.
Yes.
I get the feeling sometimes that he is a pop musician with a voice that doesn't let you recognize it.
Do
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Which is what makes him so great. Oh, shit.
You fucking love it, don't you, already?
You might want a very fancy car. See who gets that.
Huh? You don't want to get us banned on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think that would happen.
You can do
for
a few
that.
seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll usually just silence those few seconds.
What I do is go into that portion and shift the pitch.
Nobody's fucking listening to us on YouTube anyway.
I love that you think he edits that much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Not for YouTube.
The
YouTube. Hey, it's the YouTube's kids.
I get feelings of people celebrating from buildings on 9/11. That was so good. It's like, except I'm telling the truth.
I know. It just felt it started to feel very exaggerated.
and then everyone
I
took
wish
off
it
their
was. That was
Coheed
what
shirts
was
and
so
they
crazy
burned
about
them in the
pile.
streets.
That's what was so crazy
thought
about
was
that
coming
night.
next.
It feels like a weird dream.
I thought it was coming next as they put them all in a pile. They
built
burned them and they said, disco must die.
They built a doll in effigy. It was amazing. They worked.
Do you remember
so
when they did that at
fast.
Wrigley, when they burned all the disco records at Wrigley Field?
No.
That's such a crazy story. Yeah, they had, after a game, they had a radio station sponsored like a fucking anti-disco thing, and they burned a shit ton of disco albums. It's really funny that happened at Wrigley Field and was like sanctioned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a riot. It was like something that they were like, come on down, bring your disco albums. It's going to be a blast.
What?
Yeah.
Disco was awesome.
Well, there was that period where people just like hardcore
What a
rejected it.
mishated.
It was so weird.
Have you seen the?
Here's what I will say.
Like
disco can be fun, but I would not be able to just sit and like listen to disco for
I
an
listen to the
extended period
music
of time.
as a value for songwriting. It's
Yeah, but I'm saying like when you're
ridiculous,
if
but-
you're in your car on a road trip,
Yeah, I
you
get
can't
it.
listen to an hour and a half of disco.
So,
Wrong.
So much of
Wrong.
it. Yeah, totally wrong.
Wrong.
There's some stuff.
You listen to disco every time you listen to Nirvana.
Shit,
That's not the same
it's
thing.
Just pre-techno.
Well, you know it.
I listen to music from the ground up. And
It's just pre-techno.
have you seen?
Then
Have
you're
you,
very,
have you
you're
seen the interview?
speaking
Maybe
for
we,
a very singular group. Then
Well, I don't care who I'm talking to. I'm right, and my opinions are like beeholes. Listen, did we talk the other night about that interview that I was showing you with, maybe it was with you. It's Pharrell and Dave Grohl talking, and he's telling him the story of the drummer from, I think it was the Gap band.
Oh yeah, how he stole that for
He's like, I've been using, I've been ripping you off for years. He's like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
boom. That's disco. You know, what I mean? I love that. I don't know.
But
I
I'm
love disco
saying
grooves.
disco.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't listen to that for hours.
Disco is it's just dance music with vocals.
That's why I prefaced it with disco can be fun.
Yeah.
But I couldn't listen to it for a really long time.
He's really with the sound.
Am I saying disco's bad anywhere in there?
Are you a big mid 2000s or 2010ish Maroon 5 fan?
Oh wow.
You don't like disco.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
Bo's just here to be an antagonist today.
That's what I do,
the most
man.
threatened we've been in a minute. This is worse than the time on People Persons Paper podcast when Evan Hughes admitted he hated that show.
Yeah.
You know, and like mid episode, he's like, "These are the worst people I've ever met." And we're like, "But you're the nicest guy."
It is nice to have a counter to how confident we are in our opinions being wrong all the time.
And the funny thing is we've embraced our ignorance over 270 some odd episodes.
Oh, you absolutely have.
But
yes.
but it still hurts when you say it, sir.
Yeah.
It still cuts deep.
That's okay.
Well,
though.
I was
That's why
really
after
attempting to kind of make fun of myself, to isolate myself as the one who is willing to admit I fucking love Maroon 5.
That's okay.
No, you know what? Were you among the crew of people? Because I wasn't lucky enough to be one of them who saw Maroon 5 come to Curly's in 2002.
No.
And
I remember that.
all
though.
of the Hero Factor guys were there, and a bunch of bands who we all loved were there, and they're like Maroon 5 fans for life because they got to see what they really are in their element as a young touring rock band doing like Harder to Breathe and songs, those songs, and they all came back and just being like, dude, you don't understand what you missed. And for me, at my age, if the Hero Factor, in 2005 told me to like something, I was going to like it. So I didn't tell Kilgore no.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I adored Maroon 5's first album. I listened to
Really?
it
We all did.
all
Yeah,
the
I get
way.
that.
Like it was required in certain communities.
No, not that I hated it. I just didn't listen to it. It wasn't in my.
That's a start to finish album.
Yeah.
That's just something you listen to But I don't know if it aged well. It aged well. It holds up.
I haven't listened to it in forever.
I don't compare
honestly
their other albums to that album because that's its own great thing.
I got sick of them and him after a while. Like I don't know if it was just as ubiquitous on the radio as they became or what, but I fell off hard and never really got back on.
Doesn't it suck in music or in any form of celebrity that if other people love you so much, they can make you so everywhere that people hate you for the things that they all love you for?
Oh, most of my life.
You get tired not because of what they did, but because they're so good that other people won't stop putting it everywhere.
Yeah, most of my life I hated anything that was just super popular.
But doesn't that
I was just like, who likes it? Everybody? Oh, I fucking hate it.
Doesn't that suck for them though? Because that's how a lot of people do.
Sure.
But there's two ways that can happen. There can be that conscious, oh, you know what? I don't like it because it's popular and because everyone's getting into it. But it could also, you can just naturally grow tired.
Also, sometimes really shitty stuff gets super popular. Let's be real.
Sure.
Because that happens pretty frequently.
Well, and really shitty things can still be catchy. They can still be earworms.
Oh, I tell people all the time, catchy does not always equal good. Just because it's stuck in your head doesn't mean it's a good song.
But
fucking Coco Melon can get stuck in your head.
But just because something is catchy and a quick earworm doesn't mean it's not good.
Stop it.
And pop, there is just like there can be amazing pop music that is some of the most basic of pop formula.
Most basic bitch.
Basic bitch stuff can be high quality. Love a basic bitch. So often am, to be frank. But I
do love a basic bitch.
Okay. I don't even know where the fuck I was going with this. I'm lost. Five Nights at Freddy's is a movie.
We didn't even talk about the name of the other movie. The
Dreamin'
one we're talking
Wild.
movies is Dreamin' Wild.
This conversation's way better than that movie.
I think I will see that movie though because I don't normally like biopics that much because they're so.
Wait, which one are we talking about now? You switched.
Still Dreamin'
I
Wild.
thought we were talking about Freddie's.
Well, yeah, no, we're gonna get there, but I will. I think I will see Dreamin' Wild because, like I said, I don't normally like a biopic movie.
Walton
but that
Goggins,
one looks good.
Casey Affleck, looking like he's turning an Aces performance.
He's trying to get him an award.
Oscar. Yep. Zoe Deschanel, Beau Bridges. It looks like a hell of a.
I just realized how much I had derailed your show.
We do it all the time. That's
literally
every
the
episode.
job.
Yeah, it's literally the show.
If we wanted to talk about the topics,
we would have done it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be me and him.
I want to
pining
talk
for
about
James.
simulation theory.
No,
I'm
hold on.
kidding.
I do want to say my really warm spot for Beau Bridges is 100% because of the movie The Wizard.
Oh, he's in The Wizard?
Yeah.
The Nintendo movie?
He plays the dad.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
It's Beau Bridges and Christian Slater that's running after him.
Okay, that's an incredible. Christian Slater is my weird. Like,
Christian Slater is not in The Wizard.
no, I'm.
Is he?
Wait, what?
Do I need to watch The Wizard?
Christian Slater is Fred Savage's older brother. How
do I not know
my
that?
God.
Oh man! All
The
right.
most
so
important, that's
disappointed.
not the way to remember Beau Bridges, though. He's the father.
I didn't say.
He's the father in Sidekicks.
All I
and that's
said
all
was-
that matters.
He's why I love him.
I'm just kidding.
Motherfucker.
Do you remember
But
Sidekicks?
yeah, no, I love Sidekicks.
I rewatched that the other day.
It's so off. It's so over the top silly.
I love it.
It's great. Joe Piscopo, by the way, Joe Piscopo is a piece of
He's
shit.
a nutcase.
He's a fucking piece of shit.
Was he at the Capitol? Was he hanging out with the herky jerky
the
insurrectionists?
Dude, we were in DC a few weeks ago, and we're eating at this place. We go down there with our friend Brittany, and she's got to take a meeting over on Capitol Hill, and
Yeah.
we just randomly go into this
A
like
meeting on
hotel.
Capitol Hill.
we go over to this random hotel that has like a deli kind of restaurant, windows open, perfect day.
Cool.
And she goes, "This is where all the January 6th protesters stayed. They had to close this place for like a month." And I was like, "Let's take our food to go." What's funny is there was not an English speaking person working there, and that's where all these
And they don't-
pretend American loving American haters stayed to fight for the freedom.
They probably thought they were
real
taking it
butthurt
over.
about it.
Yeah, sure.
They were like, "We're taking over this hotel in
It
Delhi."
was perfect irony.
dickheads.
I loved
Yeah.
that.
I like that you left quickly, like you were worried you were going to get a little sedition on you.
Well, it was more like if I'm here now, I'm pretty sure I'm on a watch list.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, and they're like, "Back to
They're
Oklahoma."
like, he probably went
He's
there
part of
because
it.
he's a fan.
And you're like, I can't be on more than 5 watch lists, or it triggers a red flag.
I'm trying to fly home, not drive. You know?
Yeah. That's a long ass drive. Shit.
Five
Anyways.
Nights at Freddy's.
Yes,
That looks scary.
It does look spooky.
It's done by Blumhouse, which of course is like one of the horror names.
It is now. Yeah, they've
So,
definitely become that.
I like horror films that are self-aware enough to embrace a certain comedic side without allowing the comedy to make it not scary, even if it does make it scary. So, like, I guess it qualifies as a horror film. I guess, but like I love Zombieland, and that's obviously more funny, less
Okay.
scary.
Oh, I would
But
call
when,
it a comedy
when
before
a
I'd call it a
scary
horror
movie
movie.
is
I would,
totally
yeah.
scary, it's like contrived to me. It's being in a cock rock band and also wearing leather pants. But like if you can just acknowledge that this genre is like a little bit between the parody and Baroque phase of being awesome,
Yeah.
and like kind of make those little jokes and make it a little silly and still scare the crap out of me.
There's moments like when the security guard is telling the guy who's going to be watching the monitors, she corrects him and he says, "Oh, so it's like the spirit of dead kids and robots," and she goes, "Actually, they're animatronics." That kind of
Yeah.
stuff I love because it is kind of saying like we know this is ridiculous.
Yeah, a horror film should want to entertain you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and at this point in the genre, that means a certain level of self-awareness to be a little funny.
Well, and I got to say, both kinds of horror
this
movies.
looks like it'll have that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
might
be
actually
100%.
see it.
Yeah.
This looks fun, and
Yeah.
I
like
will-
yeah, you're right. I love that combo of like a fun horror movie, but I still want it to be scary.
Yeah, and it looks like it will be. The
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
the stuff that was
Five
scary.
Nights at Freddy's is scary.
Oh yeah. The game is scary.
Like these little kids
Wait,
that
it's
are
a
just,
game?
Yeah, it's a jump scare game.
You didn't know it was based on a game?
It's a series
shit.
of games.
Yeah, like little kids love it.
There's really no story to the first game except you're the guy who's at the monitors, and the thing is you're supposed to keep your eyes on the monitors, but there's only one screen, so you have to switch between them.
Should we maybe pull up some gameplay, just as some visual?
Great idea.
Yeah. What blew me away about how Five Nights at Freddy's blew up was that it blew up because of kids. And I'm like, these kids have balls, man, because this is
Sure.
like these are some pretty significant.
I'm an
fucking-
adult who still never played Resident Evil longer than 15 minutes before I'm like, nope.
right? It's wild that these kids are just like, yeah, no worries, not even a little bit scared.
So yeah, there's
I don't trust those kids. They're all going to be serial killers.
Eleanor is so into like dark shit right now. She's like just into like graveyards and bones and like.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
Well, and what's so fun
I
about
lived between 3 cemeteries.
Oh, wow.
In Dallas. It was no joke. right out of my front door across the street was a mostly Holocaust survivors cemetery. To the right were two cemeteries that were combined, half of it normal, half of them Confederate soldiers, like they're staring at the Holocaust survivors or something.
Yeah, that's weird.
They've torn all of those cemeteries down since for townhouses. But
okay,
I got my dark fix every time I heard a noise and look out my window and see cemeteries and dead trees in winter. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to move into the bubblegum and raindrops phase of my life now.
Yeah.
Going to the burbs. BRB, going to the burbs.
This looks terrifying.
Yeah, so
Right?
and the game is just constantly switching back and forth between monitors, and there's like 5 of them, so I know they've evolved significantly.
Well, I think in the beginning, the thing is that you'll see them and you'll see them move, and you're trying to catch them somehow before they get to you in the security booth, so that they can murder you.
I feel like I'm watching Paranormal Activity, except they're going to make me afraid of my daughter's stuffed animals.
So they're going to make you
Exactly,
afraid of Chuck E. Cheese.
You know, and you'll check a camera and
yeah.
suddenly something's in a different position, and then sometimes there's cameras right. The cameras also show the map of the building, and you're just like Zampino said, you're just kind of monitoring them because they up, and then occasionally that happens where you turn
that's
off the
real
camera,
scary.
and they're at you.
That reminded me of the scariest thing I've ever seen in a movie. What worked the most on me. I think it was the second or third Paranormal Activity movie. They had this camera.
I love it that you made it that far. Good for you.
I've watched them all.
Wow.
They put a camera on a it's the one where they go back to like the 80s.
Okay.
That's when they were kids, and they put a camera on a rotating fan.
Yeah.
And it was the ultimate Hitchcock thing of it's not what we show you.
It's what you don't see.
It's what you don't see, and will let your mind mess with you. And so the room was too big. So they're thinking, well, it's a movie, but the thinking of the character was put the camera on the top of a rotating fan, and it'll scan the room. And the most dread I've ever felt in the movie is what's happening on the part we can't see.
Yep.
Because you'd come back and something would be different. And at one point, everything in the room's gone, and then you realize it must have been up out of the frame, and it all crashes in. I'm not kidding. It's not that I crapped my pants. It's that I yelled and coughed so loud at the same time that I sharted in my actual pants. Doesn't seem like a big deal, except we were at a movie theater. And this is in the days where rock bands were wearing girl jeans so tight that we couldn't wear underwear because it had lines. So I just crapped my jeans.
Yep.
Wow.
Finished that movie, though.
Just duked the denim. Right? Just duked the denim right there.
Denim. That reminded me of that, and I was like, I'm not playing that game.
I have to be really aware. Like sometimes I'll be watching a scary movie in here, and I'll have the door open, and Eleanor's in the other room, and I have to be hyper aware because for some reason my reflex when I get like a jump scare or get scared, my reflex is fuck off, and I don't know why, but when I get scared, my immediate reaction is fuck off.
Yeah, I can't do that with kids.
No, I gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's fun. Man, this movie it's got a lot of attitude. It's got got a lot of humor. It's got a lot of.
It's got our baby boy Matthew Lillard.
Yeah,
I will never not love Matthew Lillard.
One of the writers' name, I think, I don't have my glasses. Is it Seth Cuddleback?
Seth Cuddleback, no L.
No, he's going to be Cuddleback.
Cuddleback, yeah.
Cuddleback is way more fun.
If you cuddle Seth, he'll cuddle back.
That's right. Cuddle and I'll cuddle back.
Oh, what are you working? Is that a stage name? You're like a kids performer? I make horror films to terrify the shit out of kids.
Yeah, but just know that if you're scared, I'll cuddle back.
I will say, because of our group chat, I now really want to make a children's character called Silly Joel.
Silly Joel, yeah.
So the idea is so fun to me.
He's got a song called Toy Piano Man.
Yeah. So play me a song, Toy Piano Man.
Philip in the sandbox is a friend of mine. He helps me stay away from the girls.
You trading in your diapers for a porta shack.
This
You
wordplay
gotta
is giving
go
me bad
right
ideas.
now.
We need to get him out of the room for a minute. I'm going to paint Robert Smith's face to look like Darth Maul, and he's going to be Robert Sith.
No.
Yes.
I would be very upset with that.
A one of
That's
one
a good
Robert
play on
Sith.
words.
I am excited.
You are a comedian. You're not allowed to be mad if it zings.
I am excited for his first album, Kylo Ren Flowers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good one. Solid.
The facts are, I will probably not watch either of these movies unless they just happen to be extremely convenient.
I was going to say, well, does this one look like it's on the too spooky end for you?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't look like it's on. It looks like it's got the more of a compelling story over the spooky.
Okay.
So, which
you can kind of forgive the spooky if it's a good enough watch.
I'll peek through my eyes. I'll do like I did for it. I'll do chores while I'm watching it. So
I don't like movies that scare me about things that actually exist. Like I can watch Paranormal Activity and be scared, but I don't believe in any of that sort of thing. So it doesn't affect me outside of the movie. Not after being a kid. You know,
right.
Blair Witch was like when I was a kid. I'm like, so there's witches in woods.
Oh, yeah, we bought it.
But
hook, line, and sink.
A movie like this or like Chucky does more to me because those sort of things are around, like stuffed animals or something. And I'm a person who like. I have a wife and a daughter. I'm the only man in the home. There's a certain amount of like ingrained, gotta be tough for my girls, just kind of thing.
Sure.
But I'm still a grown man who like, I will kind of tiptoe quickly in the dark because I don't know what's behind that thing. Now, when I was a kid, it was like Ghost. As an adult, I'm like, where's the killer? You know what I mean?
Oh man, so my grandma's hallway used to scare me because it was very long, and when it was dark, you're exactly right. I would be like, I gotta get back to that room fast.
Is my issue.
Oh,
I never got over that kind of the fear of the dark. So if I'm walking into a room in the dark and I see some stuffed animal that looks like one of these in Sloane's room,
you might punch it.
Maybe I let her, cough a few more times before I see if she's choking because I'm not just gonna go in there.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
I've seen this movie. You don't rush in.
Yeah. The
fools rush in.
There's something.
It's right there in the name.
That's why my wife and I don't. Never, I'm not making that joke.
Okay.
Sorry, honey. Love you. Perfect.
The thing I love about this is that
I've never heard that come out of you.
Don't know what I was saying.
That was great.
What?
His little laugh was good.
It
was a new one.
I'm a funny boy.
I'm a funny boy.
He was letting me off the hook. I appreciate it.
That's what I'm doing.
He was being a good friend.
It was good. I love it.
Got some sad news for television.
Oh
unfortunately.
no! Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is
a bummer.
This is a big one because I'm so excited about this upcoming season 3 for Reservation Dogs, and we now know it will be the last for the show.
Here's where Hulu's better than Netflix.
Yeah.
They're giving you a final season.
They are.
I almost canceled Netflix whenever they put out what's the amazing space show with Jennifer Garner
with Steve Carell?
With Hilary Swank. Is it Away?
Away, wow.
And Messiah.
No, wow.
Away and Messiah are arguably the two greatest single seasons of television I've ever, specifically Messiah, that I've ever seen in my life. And I've had several friends say the same thing, but I've told all my other friends, it's the greatest show you'll ever see. Oh. Don't watch it. Because they both end on massive cliffhangers, and despite being the most popular shows on Netflix, Netflix just said no. And like one of the things they said was, well, COVID's making it hard, but they still greenlit like a BS copy version with Katie Sackhoff. And they go, we offended the people of Jordan by depicting a Messiah or false Messiah where we filmed there. It's like, who cares what the 47, they don't have Netflix.
Yeah.
So I pay $15 a month.
And the cliffhanger is big enough that you say stay away.
The point of Messiah is that I know I'm distracting from that show. I'm sorry. We'll go back to it.
No, it's all right.
The premise of Messiah is there's a man who you don't know if he's the second coming of Christ or not.
Because that sounds cool.
Well,
and you said it was such good TV.
So
I want to watch it.
It's very similar to how they told the story of K-Pax with Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
Where for everything they do that gives you proof that he's the Messiah, they give you something that seems like it's a complete proof that he's not. And it goes back and forth, and you can't explain either. And there's this incredible moment where he walks on water at the Washington Monument, and there's all these people around, and then something happens right after it to where you're like, is this guy the greatest con artist? Is he working with terrorists to destabilize America's faith, or is he? And then they don't do the second season on the greatest hanger of all, and you're like, what?
Okay.
Which maybe was brilliant with the premise of the show.
According to Rotten Tomatoes, 41% of the people disagree with you.
Watch the show. It is 41%.
But
the people who don't like it are largely, if you read the reviews, objecting on religious grounds.
I know we're still away from picks and plugs, so this is kind of a preview, but I just want to be real clear. Messiah, with only the one season, it's not coming back after a cliffhanger finale. Should people watch it, yes or no?
It is the highest rated, from what I understand, the most views of any show in Netflix history for a reason.
Wow.
And it's a divisive topic. So if you thought you were going to get a 95% on something like that, it's not going to happen.
What do you think, though? So, even just me personally,
it's hard because I've never been so sucked into a show. And by the way, you're looking at the ratings for Away.
I know.
Oh,
but I would imagine Messiah's something like that. Away's awesome.
Yeah. 46, even less.
And then let's
64%.
So really,
people don't like it.
And 98% of people thought A Knight's Tale was the best movie ever. Let's just move on.
Good. No, I'm just kidding. We will rock you.
I joked because the reason Rotten Tomatoes got famous is they were accepting money from the people who made A Knight's Tale.
Wow.
And that's when we realized their ratings are bullshit.
And nowadays, who doesn't say it is Heath Ledger's best film? Who doesn't say
we
that?
watched it the other night. I don't ever skip A Knight's Tale. But
yeah, it's the only way they could have followed Batman Begins.
Away is the most believable sci-fi I've ever seen, and the story was incredible, and I think it's her best work.
But same question.
But
fatal cliffhanger.
Cuts, yes,
no
it's
season
fatal.
2. Should I watch it? Yes or no?
If you love great sci-fi, you can't. If you love great sci-fi that's not all about saving the world and it's about like the journey of it, which is what I love. Like I love Star Trek, but I hate that the movies are always saving the Earth.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
Man, Disco's been fun, though.
Like, save a different planet.
Well, I like it when they visit the other planet and explore our society and our cultural norms by discussing theirs. But, no, they're both incredible, but I honestly don't recommend anyone watch either because it's going to hurt you the way it is.
That much. It is some Firefly shenanigans going on.
I just glanced.
Yeah, the most I've been upset than when I was watching Firefly and nobody told me it was only 14 or so episodes. And when it ended, I was going to watch the next one. And I found out, other than the movie they did later, there's nothing more.
Yeah.
It felt just like that.
Okay.
Or same thing, I didn't know Freaks and Geeks was only 18 episodes. I thought I was about to watch, I thought I was getting into one of the best series ever.
No, yeah, no.
It hurt like that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I just glanced over and I didn't see Away at first, and I thought it said, "Is Netflix based on a book?"
That sounds like a Google question.
Yeah. Is Netflix based on a book? Oh, that's good shit.
Man.
One of the greatest quotes of all time. Airheads. Want 40 copies of Moby Dick, the book or the movie? They made a book out of that?
Yeah. But now we also know that Reservation Dogs is going to wrap with season 3. But this Sterling Harjo, creator of the series, along with, did he do it with Taika Waititi also? Yeah. Then Sterling Harjo posted on Twitter saying that they have decided after filming the season 3 finale that it will also serve as a series finale. It doesn't really go into whether it was their decision or Hulu's or joint, but it definitely sounds like they are at least leaving at least somewhat on their own terms, which with a series is always what you want.
You just want it wrapped up well, so it tells the story.
Exactly. You just don't want an unnecessary cliffhanger. You know?
I also like it when people decide ahead of time how long the series is going to be and they storyboard. Like, my wife got me this because I love Ted Lasso.
Oh, sure.
I was so sad when that show ended. Like, I lost friends almost. Like, because what show has made you love so many characters? I didn't see that coming. Well, it's got more characters in it, is what I mean.
But
like,
I'm just saying that's as attached as I was.
And did that one do 3 seasons also?
They decided how many episodes it was going to be in the beginning. They had a story to tell, and they didn't do what some shows get sucked into. It's like, okay, this is a cash cow. Let's build another 3 seasons that ruin this.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a UK formula, though.
They were the police.
The UK formula is like 2 to 3 seasons, and then sometimes a special.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's what the UK Office was.
Did you ever see the follow-up movie with Ricky Gervais to the original Office?
Oh, yeah. Fucking, of course I did. It's so fucking funny.
That's not canon.
That's
not what Michael did.
It's so funny. Kidding. I love it. It
was
funny.
Great, him going on tour.
Yeah. Did you watch it? It's on Netflix.
He quits his job, cashes everything out, gets a tour bus, hires a band, and goes on tour to follow his dreams as a singer.
Yeah.
But he doesn't understand that like that's not going to make anyone come to the shows.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But yeah. So with Reservation Dogs, obviously
really
sad news because after 2 successful seasons, we were excited for a 3rd. But again, glad to see that they're going out at least the way they want to.
I just hope Sterling can keep the momentum of that success going and keep putting out really good projects with and for, or with a lot of, native people giving a lot bigger representation of that. Because I mean, he's done a lot for, especially coming from here. It's really cool.
The great thing about Reservation Dogs was, of course, that with a massive indigenous cast, it was providing a lot of these actors with work and getting them national attention to hopefully lead to more projects, get these talented people out in the public eye, and also telling stories of modern day indigenous communities, which is kind of a little corner of the population that I personally had a lot of blank spots in my knowledge. And it was neat to get a sense of, elements of community and family in that community that I just had no understanding of.
I've never even heard of this show.
Really?
It's hugely popular.
And
I'm so disconnected from.
Well,
I just
culture.
find what comes across
and it's
my
such
way.
And we're all so siloed in our interests that
It's COVID too.
You can have something that is both huge and still unknown to many. It's that's the world we've reached.
Well, it's also like post-COVID world. There's just so much like that we didn't realize we were getting from the water cooler of like taking the cultural pulse of the people around us, and it's just not there. So we all have our own websites and our own the algorithms feeding us very different content.
When you're not going to work and hearing like, oh my God, did you guys watch Res Dogs last night?
Yeah. But also, I will say, if you're looking to catch up, hit up Circle Cinema, friend of the show, on their Facebook page. They're airing episodes for free every week this summer of season 1 and 2.
Oh, that's really cool.
So that's just a local project for our friends here in Northeast Oklahoma. That would be fun.
We should find an abandoned office building and start every Thursday night an office screening night where we all have party and we bring
office at the office.
We all just dress like a bunch of.
I don't know if
Dwight's.
we have NBC licensing money.
Bring really bad treats.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do it like a rave in the '90s. We're gonna, but instead of dancing and ecstasy, it's gonna be The Office and vapes.
We're not gonna tell them.
You can't advertise. Well, we just did. We
They're
gotta
not
erase
listening.
this. We gotta burn this.
Wait,
episode.
The Office.
Hey,
the orifice.
NBC execs, if you're listening, you did not hear that, and I need you to stop listening.
I can assure you that for at least the last 10 years, NBC's not listening to what any of their fans have to say.
They are not. They are not. Because
That's fair.
The only thing we've been saying is more 30 Rock, please.
Oh God, yeah.
I will say MSNBC's on the up and up.
Are they doing good?
They're on the come up.
Are they doing good?
Yeah,
I
they've
really
really
think
kind of taken over the.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was just going to say they've really kind of taken over the spot now that CNN's taken such a strange shift lately.
Hold my hand while I say this.
Okay, yes.
The problem with a 30 Rock reunion is I think that Alec Baldwin's really shot his chances of being a part of that.
Yeah.
Is he in jail? What happened with that?
They should consider.
What happened with that?
They
I
should
don't know what
consider a
happened.
reload. I mean recast. I'm sorry. Thank you. He is still a free man. He was tweeting how nasty U.S. airlines are the other day.
Well, he's just trying to find something relatable.
Yeah, it's facts. He's bored, clearly.
I mean, he's not wrong, though.
Shouldn't he? Doesn't he have a child to insult publicly? I mean, I don't know. I just think he's.
Has anybody ever considered the fact that maybe she deserved it? I'm kidding.
Some people
Maybe.
have shitty kids.
I'm sure there are people who've considered that.
To be fair, we've all met that family where you're like, you know this one guy who's just awful. Mm-hmm. And maybe you actually like go hang out with him at his house that day or something and you realize that his parents are wonderful and all of his siblings are wonderful. And he's just like the proof that even good parents can have one shitty kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it happened to my parents.
And that guy always thinks his parents are awful. And they're like, and the mom, like, right as he's bitching, like, comes in. It's like, honey, would you and your friend like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Ma!
He's like, Mom, get the fuck out of my
Get
room.
out of my room!
Yeah.
She's the worst, man.
God, I'm trying to talk about tits.
Yeah, that's.
Trying to talk about tits with my friends. Get out of here, Mom. Me and Hilton were talking about tits before you got here. It was pretty good.
Love them titties.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, love titties.
A big fan.
Yeah,
Everybody is.
I'm not a small fan.
that's the thing. It's people love the sex, man. They're into it.
Well, I feel like here's the
of it.
thing:
The sex and the sexy stuffs. They're all over that.
Also, the things, not just the stuffs, but the things
and the
stuffs, for
They're-
sure.
Oh, They love the stuffs almost as much as the things.
There's something, you know.
It's
the only body part that I think
there's a lot of body parts
is across the board because maybe butts.
Not for me.
Maybe butts because gay men even like boobs.
Oh yeah, we all love boobs.
Straight women like boobs. Lesbians like boobs.
Yep.
Everybody likes boobs.
What's the
Penises are objectively terrifying, even to people who like them.
What are the two presents that all kids love if you give them?
Boobs.
Balls.
Wait.
Like bouncing balls.
Okay.
Okay, Pastor John. No, balls.
No,
like bouncing ball.
I'm fine with balls.
And if you give them a present, what do they end up playing
documented.
with? What do young children end up playing with when you give them the present? The box. But okay, that sounded. This was not a setup for a bad joke. Oh my god. Yeah. The cube,
balls in the box.
The cardboard cube that they come in.
Yeah,
but it's just kids like kids like bouncy things.
That's what they're going after the Avengers.
The cardboard
right?
receptacle.
Yeah.
The cube-like receptacle.
We grow up to love the bounce.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. That's why Pogo Balls got so big.
Pogo.
What's a Pogo Ball?
Yeah, what's a Pogo Ball?
You don't remember Pogo Balls? That's from our generation.
Oh, that was such a small window because you're not quite. I think you're a little younger than us, aren't you?
I think I'm 3 years younger than you.
Yeah,
what are you, 39?
That might be the window.
Oh, yeah. Then you're 4 years.
Oh yeah, dude, you don't know the Pogo. This was popular
it didn't work at all.
For 45 minutes in 1989.
Yeah, because it didn't work for
I remember these.
Yeah,
I do.
It did not work at all.
It kind of worked. Some people were good at it.
Here, I was going to say
the entire idea was like, you know what I want to do? I want to bounce on Saturn.
But even the ones who were good at it, it was so unimpressive because it just didn't perform
like moon shoes
much. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't really get it to go very high, even when you were pretty good at it.
You got to double jump on top of another Saturn.
Let's watch some videos.
I don't want to.
Okay.
That one says
we
Pogo.
Don't have to.
The first video says Pogo Ball was the worst / best toy.
The
of the
best
80s.
worst. Yeah, that's.
Wait? Hold on. Do me a favor. Just look up like best Pogo Ball performance and see if anything comes up because I want to see if there's like people. I don't know, but we're gonna go back. But I've got to see if there's like people that are doing like flip tricks and shit.
I just want to say
on Pogo Balls. You know how people got really good with like the tech deck fingerboards.
I want to be real quick. Performance feels like too strong a word.
Fair enough, but
no videos.
God damn, really?
Let's see.
That whoever was cast as Superman in that photo is taking over my mind right now.
No one. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Oh, okay, fine.
No, no one has uploaded a video ever
of them like
using the word
Of course, the guy
Pogo Ball.
that's Lex Luthor is trying to avoid all the Superman.
Here's the deal: if humanity wants to succeed on its own, we can't have this alien trying to show us up.
What
that
I
is
need
bullshit. I'm here to help mankind, and that's all.
We're
People
all
call
gonna
me
get
a villain.
an AI chip.
People call me a villain.
What I need is Rodney Mullen doing a fakey 360 flip on a Pogo Ball. Right?
This is a real.
I was thinking of Sean Mullen, and I was like,
no, a different person.
And really, what is a Pogo Ball but Lex Luthor wearing a weird hat? Let's be honest. We've got a new Superman and Lois Lane.
I'm never going to look at Saturn the same.
I'm pivoting
I just
again.
said Les Luthor.
That's honestly, we give Brainiac a chance. That's all I'm saying.
That guy looks almost as much
Les is
like
a person's
the original
name, too.
Superman as the one guy they had that was a better looking, original looking Superman.
It's weird that I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wasn't he the living in?
He was so goddamn
the
good.
reincarnation.
Who?
And he's talking about Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill as Superman.
And how much Henry Cavill looked more like Superman than Christopher Reeve.
Do you know what really
right?
fucked my brain up was
Kevin
it was
Costner
Jim
being his dad.
Caviezel and Henry Cavill?
Cavill.
It's not Cavill.
Whatever.
Actually, I've been saying it Cavill because at some point people started saying it was Cavill, and then recently I feel like they've started saying it's Cavill again.
Either way,
all I know is it's Kamala Harris. That's all I know for sure.
The similarities of their two last names, though, forever made me confuse them.
Caviezel and
so
Cavill.
long.
Yeah.
For so long, I could not fucking get straight which one was which.
And let's be honest, Superman is sometimes very much a Jesus allegory, so it's all connected.
Right. But didn't Caviezel play Superman?
Do you have
Nobody
anyone else
did
like
play
that?
Jesus.
That's true.
Do you have anyone else like that who is inextricably you can't?
Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulroney.
I have prosopagnosia, which is like dyslexia, but it's for symmetric objects.
Okay.
The only reason I know what a stop sign is because of its color and because it's got the word stop on it. The actual like looking at the shape, is it an octagon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looking at something like that, it's a total mental deficit of I have also where I'm at on the spectrum.
Huh.
But I have a huge problem with faces to the point that had once been in Dallas for like 6 months. I came back. Before I came to my parents' home, I stopped at the grocery store. My mom is there. She's like, Beau, I really remember people's voices, but she was at a distance. She introduced herself 3 or 4 times. She goes, Beau, it's me, Mom. And I was like, Mom. It's like a thing.
Wow.
Until I was at least 15 years old. This is so weird. I did not know until like the patented Tom Cruise laugh came on or the Charlie Sheen snaky voice came on. Who was which? So I was convinced that in my favorite childhood movie, and I didn't care. I thought it was like a Chris Gaines thing where he had like a second name, and my sister and my mom would like get angry to the point of like yelling about it. I was like, no, that's Tom Cruise. I can't believe he's beneath Emilio Estevez. I didn't know anything about The Outsiders in a movie. I thought it's Charlie Sheen in that movie.
Yeah,
so funny.
To this day, I'm still like, which one am I looking? Oh, you don't look like a
it's Tom
crackhead.
Cruise.
That's Tom
Was in
Cruise.
The Outsiders.
yeah. Outsiders actually is Tom Cruise.
But Emilio Estevez is in it.
He is.
as
He
well.
is. But
Yes.
Charlie Sheen is not in Outsiders.
Correct.
That one is Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right. So you
But
see the
Charlie
pro-
Sheen
Yeah, oh,
is
yeah, you
Emilio
still got
Estevez's
some of it.
brother,
I love
too,
it.
I
which
know.
is even
That's
further
wild.
confusing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Because you're like,
see
how
them.
come Emilio got in the movie, but Charlie couldn't get in the movie?
Do you
Here's
have
the
people
deal.
like that? Do you have like people that like you just look at them and you're like, which one are you?
Yeah.
Who's not a Hemsworth?
Right? Yeah.
That
Well,
makes no sense. I mean,
and for me, it's more of an aging out thing. Like as I am less familiar with some of the young Hollywood stars, there are several of the men or women who I just kind of
get
mix up
mushed
their
together,
faces.
yeah.
like
you know,
what's
mushed
his
up.
Zendaya or whatever her name is?
It's a person.
It's a Chevy. Let's be honest. It's a
Chevy
Chevy.
Zendaya?
I'm pretty sure it's a convertible.
The 2023 Chevy Zendaya.
It's a 2-seater coupe.
Yes.
Come on down to Don Carlton Mitsubishi and get you a Chevy.
$2,000
We know it's
cash
weird.
back.
So we've got a new Superman and Lois Lane.
$2,000 cash back you will not receive.
Ever.
James Gunn announced for the upcoming movie Superman Legacy, set to kick off the new slate of DC movies as we move away from Zack Snyder's DCEU. David
have a
Corenswet
question for you.
and Rachel Brosnahan will be playing Superman Clark Kent and, of course, Lois Lane. What's your question? What do you got?
What I was going to say, is this the first time that James Gunn is getting to do a Superman, or has he?
Yes.
That's what I
yeah.
thought. Okay, so I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Well, and a lot of people are worried about it because James Gunn, of course, came up through Trauma and through being kind of a contrarian kind of comedian and writer. And then later with his Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he's got a kind of a comedic, acerbic tone to it and a real kind of appreciation for a lot of the kind of popish sensibility.
Is he?
I want a
director?
funny
Is he a director?
Superman.
The director.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to see a funny
I've
Superman.
really liked where DC
take it
is
too
finally
seriously.
figuring out over the last few years. Obviously, like Marvel figured out their game a lot quicker, and DC had so many missteps and got to tell the story again and go through another version. But I think they're getting it dialed in, especially on their TV shows.
Well, sure. But this is actually going to kick off a whole new era. And they're kind of wrapping that
Good.
up. And what's
They've learned.
and Gunn's role is very similar to Kevin Feige.
Fahey.
Feige. Kevin, the Kevin over
The
at
Kevin.
Marvel.
We'll just call him the Kevin.
Who does all the planning, where James Gunn is kind of the overall planner, as well as having some very hands in the soup kind of approach to it. That's a metaphor, right?
Is he like the?
Hands in the soup.
Why
That
am
sounds
I?
like a-
elbow
is
deep
he
in the
the
soup?
J.J. Abrams of this universe?
Yeah,
Hopefully
kind
he'll
of.
do
Sure,
a better
yeah.
job than J.J.
Yeah,
Or be a better
yeah.
person.
Yeah,
Is he not a good person?
yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't JJ
No,
problematic?
No, I mean, he, only for the Rise of Skywalker. He's a big problem for that. But
Oh my God! Did you see that interview with Hamels explaining to him? He's like, "This is why Luke wouldn't do this." And then they talked to George Lucas, and he's like, he just straight up said, kind of recently, he's like, clearly JJ didn't understand the story because by making that movie, he removed the canon of Star Wars for all of my movies. He didn't understand that Darth did balance the Force. I mean, Anakin balanced the Force in death and all that. Like totally screwing it up. What made me so
I
mad
wouldn't be
about that is that I
surprised.
hated those Star Wars movies, but I loved what he did with Star Trek. And then he left it.
yeah, same.
Those Star Trek movies were incredible.
I loved the first J.J. Abrams Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I loved the way he introduced Rey and Poe and Finn, the way he brought back Han and Chewie. Rise of Skywalker it's a collection of fun Star Wars looking scenes in a largely incoherent film. That's what the sequel trilogy will end up being to me, is scenes that I
never
love.
understand how Star Wars fans seem to hate Star Wars.
Nobody
much.
hates Star Wars. Nobody hates Scotland like the Scottish.
Well,
to quote
what's
Groundskeeper
crazy
Willie.
is, and then they don't support the great ones.
Yeah.
Like obviously everyone loved Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I loved Solo.
Oh yeah, Solo's great.
Loved it, and it tanked to the point that that guy doesn't get to carry on in that universe.
Yeah.
That movie was incredible.
At least I think Donald Glover is still moving forward with a Lando series.
You know, I will say that I feel like
they should be series. That universe is too big to isolate into
the
2
series
hour
thing has
movies.
been great.
Great.
I feel like the movies, though, we're at around a almost 40% clip of good ones versus bad ones.
Kinda, yeah. It's not great.
If we're being honest,
The track record's not great. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and people were too hard on George too, in my opinion. Like with what he created visually at a time when
The first three
he
are
didn't
still the
have,
best.
He didn't have
Yeah.
40 years. He had books like Foundation and certain visual elements from Star Trek and some of the filmmaking styles of science fiction of the day by using models rather than CGI. But first of all, it wasn't sci-fi. It really was the Western format.
Yeah.
And he created something so brilliant. And only after he's gone and his fans talking shit about him for 30 years, they're like, oh, this is what happens when we don't have George. It's like, oh my God, dude.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well, nobody's more excited for a movie they're going to hate 15 minutes in.
And a strong amount of revisionist history has been applied over the last 20 years to the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3, where the kids who were kids during those movies grew up and they still have a fondness for them that you have with the things you love from childhood.
Yeah.
So they see it as
They hold
better.
it up to a false.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
George Lucas was like, you motherfuckers put so much pressure on me. Now I'm going to go do a bunch of cocaine and do Howard the Duck.
And
Fuck you.
And then also you had the Clone Wars cartoon, which came along and softened the blow of the prequels. And really, and I could say this on the heels of coming off that show just a few weeks ago, the Clone Wars cartoon makes the prequels better. For 100%, but they are still not great.
It's all a lead up to the greatest Star Wars film that nobody ever talks about. If you haven't seen an Ewok Christmas, you don't know what cinema
if
can
you
be.
haven't seen
The Star Wars Christmas special.
the Star Wars Holiday Special, or the Ewoks Battle for Endor, in which the Ewoks help a family that crash lands on their planet. But anyway, I'm excited for the new Superman, David Cornsweet. I'm excited. Rachel Brosnahan, of course, from The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Excellent, which just wrapped up 4 or 5 seasons.
Who is that guy? Is he? Oh, he was in. Is it called Hollywoodland?
Is it? Okay.
Hollywoodland? No, that movie's a long time.
It's not a movie. It's a TV show that's a limited series on Netflix that was fantastic about a man who's working as a gigolo while he tries to become famous in like 1930s.
Oh, it's just called Hollywood.
Yeah,
I am listening.
that show, and he has to work often as I believe, a gay gigolo.
Yeah.
I can't.
We're hoping.
The thing is, you would
just a
think the
gigolo,
subject
right?
matter would be the
Life
type
goes on without
Still
me.
just a jiggle.
you would think the subject matter would be the type of thing that would put off an entire half of the country. And it was
Yeah.
one thing to where everyone who watched it was just like, holy crap, it's so good. And the way they reference real people around him who were real of the time, it's got that kind of period piece feel while like fictional set in a real thing, you know?
He's going to be in the new Twisters.
Oh, okay.
The new Twister
Yeah, the
sequel.
Twister sequel.
That's actually a movie about male exotic dancers.
No, it's about the game.
Twisters.
Yeah, it's about Left Foot Red.
I want to play Twisted Metal now.
They're making so many movies about like games. They made Battleship. They made
That Battleship was so
They
bad.
made Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but they called it Pacific Rim. and then now we're gonna have the Twister movie.
I was hoping it was actually going to be some like Twister.
Wait, now we got-
we
it is
the
rewatched
sequel to Twister.
recently.
Hold on, we got to stop this. We have Dylan McDermott, Dermot Mulroney. Now Daryl McCormick thinks he's going to come in here and fuck shit up.
I am excited for this new guy playing Superman.
Oh, it is of Twister.
David
Yeah.
Cornsweet does not
I was
have...
being no. Well, that part was real. Then the bits came.
I never know what's real. I'm
Yeah,
so
the fact
out.
that it's a Twister sequel, that part was real.
Yeah, that is actually happening. But in the meantime...
I only ever understand
you're
half
so
the truth.
mad
So
now.
was the election not stolen?
It looks like it's going to be bad, huh?
The new Superman's called Superman Legacy, written and directed by James Gunn. And I'm excited for this
he
new
wrote it
guy
too.
just because he doesn't have a huge... We don't know much about him. Besides the about a dozen productions across film and television, he is kind of a new face in Hollywood. So
Gives him the chance to really take the role.
exactly, yeah. So that's
Who is it?
David Cornsweet is his name.
Will you show me him?
Only for the 7th time.
That's who that is.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't understand that's who we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, and he does look a lot like Henry Cavill. Or I'm gonna say it that way for the rest of the podcast.
I realized he was in that.
Henry Cavill.
Hey, there's your take. I would recommend anyone watch that show.
What show?
Which one?
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
It is brilliant.
Well, good. Well, it's probably good. We could probably pick and plug.
It's my other Queen's Gambit for like miniseries. Perfect.
And
that show was good.
Queen's
on
Gambit
par.
was. I heard a ton of good stuff. You know who would love that was Trevor Carrion, friend of the show.
He chess guy or
Yeah, the chess show.
no? Is he a big chess guy?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that-
big chess guy.
I don't think you have to be. My wife fell
No, I
in
don't know
love with
shit about
Queen's
chess.
Gambit.
Yeah.
It feels like it is based on a book, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know much.
Feels like
at
a
all.
book as
Believe
much as a
so.
show.
and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, very novice at chess. I barely remember which things go in which direction.
Yeah.
and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible at it.
When I was 16, fun fact, I was ranked 7th, 18 and under nationally in chess.
Nice.
Made all that up.
Really? Yeah. It had the same energy if they took their Coheed shirts off during the
burned
show.
them in the middle
I'll
of
let you
Wrigley
decide.
Field.
One of the two of those was true. Nobody was burning shirts in the street.
No, at Wrigley Field.
I
I
did
just
it right
saw
there at the
it was a
stadium.
boyfriend and a girlfriend walking out like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, they were going to fuck. That's just
That's exactly what it was.
judge that band.
Coheed got them in the mood.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I walked out of the Looney Bin, Oklahoma City, and 2 people were fucking in their car that were
God.
from the show?
At least they were in their car.
Well, no,
It's Oklahoma City. You never
Hold on.
know.
I have to. They were in their car, sort of. She was bent over the front
Oh,
seat,
wow.
feet on the ground outside. He was outside behind her.
17,
wow.
17.
But all I could think, what?
17.
That's no. Shh. This is the Oklahoma City Looney Bin.
Yeah.
Thursday night show.
Wow. That's
And I'm
ladies'
like,
night.
all I remember was immediately being like, it was Kristen Key and John Stringer, I believe,
Yeah.
that week.
They
And
were
I
on
remember
stage
being
that
like-
week. They weren't the kids in the car.
No, yeah, correct. I remember being like, you guys were so good that people could not wait to get home to fuck each other.
God, that was such a good show. I've got to have you now.
It was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Were they getting
parked-
roasted on like in banter? Maybe they're like masochists
No.
and they're like, I'm so turned on right now.
Yeah.
The way he
This-
made fun of me.
Do you remember when he said my job was lame?
Here's
Oh
the
my God,
craziest part was they were parked right the fuck next to me.
Oh, wow.
So I had to get in my car.
Hey, guys, I want to go home.
Nice.
Bye.
It's where you compliment his form.
That's what I always do. Thanks so much for coming, you guys.
Yeah, right. Not yet. He's almost there. All right, let's pick it and plug it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Bo, any other picks? You got anything else you've been into lately? Any movies, TV, video,
Music?
music?
You know, I've been going through like this.
Do you like music?
I've heard of it. I've been going through this
heard of
phase of watching shows that I shouldn't like.
Okay.
It's been kind of the last few years have been kind of a lightening up phase for me. Like shows that I would have judged. So like one show I'm watching right now, and everything about it's derivative and kind of awful, and I just love it because the story carries me from episode to episode, and I don't have to overthink the existentialism that is the mystery of my existence, which is the phase I'm going on. I've been watching Arrow, which was like
cool.
on CW.
Yeah, sure.
I like the guy who plays the main lead and hate almost everyone else, but I love him.
That was me and Dexter.
Stephen Amell. is
Yeah,
his name.
well, the girl who
Mark
played
Hamill?
his sister was just at the point of Dexter was almost, for me, maybe the worst actress I've ever seen in my life.
Every side character was terrible.
She was exceptionally bad at acting. And I've seen her in pretty good stuff since.
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes if it wasn't the direction of like, we're going to play this cheesy. I don't know.
If
But
it
I
was,
couldn't-
that was a
it made me stop
mistake.
watching Dexter. But I would tell you, it's funny, the more I think about it when we've been talking with the nature of Messiah being that you don't know if he is or if he isn't, for it to end without an answer may have been perfect.
Okay.
Because had they
That's like
answered
God.
it do us one way or another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ruins it one way or another.
Would that be like finding out if there really
I've never
is God?
recommended to anyone who didn't love it.
Yeah.
But I've never really. I've always told them like, but don't watch it, and then they watch it anyway.
Yeah.
And then everyone's also like, yeah, you can't end like that.
Yeah.
You can't build up to a moment that never sees any form of fruition.
Okay.
Shows I love. I always recommend Queen's Gambit. We just watched it for like the third time, I think.
Nice.
I know I stopped. I only started counting at some point because it got ridiculous, and I stopped counting. So creepy. I've seen The West Wing over 30 times from start to finish.
Oh, I love that show.
Well, for a 4 or 5 year period, it was all I watched. It was always on. I was working, especially from home during the beginning of COVID. So it would go on at about 10 in the morning. It'd go off at about 5 at night. And when the series ended, I'd just start over. Especially think during the Trump administration, I needed some sort of escapism away from reality. That was like, that is the idealism we all love of at least like people who are trying. You know what I mean? And I recently started West Wing again, and it's on HBO, which is cool because there's certain things that Netflix edited out of the original, sometimes to give the other side a quality argument to make the show more debatable. The way Aaron Sorkin wrote it, and Aaron Sorkin's my favorite writer, but like the famous debate in season 6 or 7 between Santos and the Republican candidate, who's the guy who plays him? We all love him. He's genius. But
I have no idea.
They made it. Netflix made it seem like it was a liberal beatdown, which was all like they're all great points, and I've like memory banked them for life for when those issues come up. But HBO put all those minutes back in, and it's made like the series new to me, which is cool. It's like it's the extended cut.
Any plugs?
Watch The West Wing if you never have. It's the greatest,
for you.
It's the greatest TV show ever.
You got any plugs for yourself?
Not in me right now. No. I'm comfortably sitting here.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
As if you can't be comfortable.
I make videos on YouTube these days, man.
Where's your channel?
Beau Tyler Makes Music.
There it is.
And it's Beau spelled the right way.
Beau spelled the right way makes music. You should lengthen it, make it longer. Beau the right way. Beau spelled the right way makes music.
I think my Instagram something says it's Beau but Frenchified or something like that. like Beau Jackson but Frenchified. Man, I don't know. I've been reading more than anything lately.
Fair.
I go in phases, and I'm reading Atlas 6 right now, and I'm just all the way in on it.
Oh, we're good on picks. We got plenty of picks. I was wondering about plugs.
Oh, plugs. Yeah, I lost the plot.
It's all
I'm
good.
getting a contact.
Hilton, what do you got
in here? Yeah, Queen's Gambit. I like Arrow.
There's I'm gonna do some more comic reviews, man. I've been doing a little comic suggestions the last couple of weeks. I'm gonna keep it going. We've got a brand new series about the Incredible Hulk that Marvel just launched with a new #1, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who just took over the Green Giant after writing Superman for a couple of years over at DC. And this has been a fun book. I just read the first issue yesterday. It's a whole new status quo for the Hulk, coming on the heels of a kind of less than loved series written by a guy named, I want to say Ryan Otley, but I think he was the artist, but never mind. And that series was on the heels of a very much loved and touted series called The Immortal Hulk. So we had The Immortal Hulk, which was great, then a book just called Hulk, which everyone was kind of like, eh. And after a year, Marvel wrapped that up early, and now we have a brand new The Incredible Hulk.
When was The Immortal?
Maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It ran from about 2018 to I think 2022.
You know, there was a long time in the 80s where Hulk Hogan was like known as the Immortal Hulk Hogan.
I'm sure there was.
Which one was the Eric Bana one?
That was a movie just
was
called Hulk. Yeah.
I only remember that one because they
were like,
they screwed up the audio on like 1 million of the discs shipped, and I had one of them. Mm-hmm. It's where it didn't have the central audio and surround sound, which means you could hear everything except for what they were saying.
Oh God.
And it was like a whole thing, and I felt really bad for him.
That movie was bad.
That was part of the reason the movie tanked, is because of the loss in sales from the DVD.
That movie was bad. This new comic series, The Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson, has been off to a great start. The idea behind it is they are seeking some of the strongest and most feral monsters of the Marvel Universe to take down the Hulk. So some true fights between equally matched beasts are ahead of us in the book. And I think that that should cater to the need for some high action in a book like that. And it's going to give us a chance to really see him interacting with some characters that we don't normally see, because you don't normally see the kind of spooky, dark side of the Marvel Universe interacting with the Hulk as much. So I'm on board. Great art, a real kind of dark, gritty art style, and a lot of characters that I just don't see a lot in the corners of the Marvel U that I read. So
at this point, where is the Hulk and Bruce Banner as far as like being able to control? Is he like at that, I can switch it on and off when I want to? Is it still part of, are we in a like, it happens when I don't want it? Like
I will give you a little bit
of
of
school boner.
This was all just a chance to say school boner.
You were working towards that.
I really wasn't, to be honest, but once
you got there,
once that window opened, I was like, well, I gotta.
I will give a quick recap of how absurd the Hulk has gotten.
Oh, God.
That will answer in a largely I don't 100% know, and I'm excited to find out.
Okay, cool.
But in the Immortal Hulk, they had kind of reached an agreement. Both Banner and the Hulk were fully articulate, intelligent creatures who could speak. Banner lived by day, and the Hulk came out at night. It was that simple.
So
when the Immortal
he was
Hulk,
like a werewolf.
When the Immortal Hulk ended, if you want to know more about that, you can find the Immortal Hulk written by Al Ewing on your local comic book shelves. In the follow-up series, Hulk, here's where it gets wild.
Well, I was just going to say, my first question was like, when he in the morning, does Bruce Banner feel like refreshed?
Save your question. It gets weirder.
I'm sorry.
In the sequel, in the like series Hulk, Banner split the Hulk up into 3 parts. The Hulk's body became a starship.
Why, as you do.
Banner's psyche became the pilot of the starship. And Hulk's psyche became the engine of the starship.
It's the Trinity. It's the Holy Trinity.
That series is the one that just ended. It only ran for about 12 issues because fans rebelled. So dumb. Because after coming on, and the day and night thing is honestly... There's a lot more to that series, but it was so beloved that people rejected this so hard. But I got to tell you, I kind of liked it.
Really? I don't need to see it to know you're wrong. Explain, understand how many people had to hear that idea and said, that sounds great. I'd like to find it.
It was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Whenever
it's definitely weird.
When Starship Hulk would fly, which essentially was like do anything.
Boot shoes.
You would see Psyche Hulk fighting like stronger and stronger enemies. And when Banner wanted him to like go faster or harder, he would like put it into the next gear, which would throw tougher challenges at Hulk's psyche. It was fucked up.
That is fucking
It's so
crazy.
It was like an acid dream. Anyway, this new one, I don't 100% know. All I know is that when he turned into the Hulk at one point, it did not seem like he had any control in the situation. And like I said before, I'm excited to find out where it goes.
Word up. What about plugs?
Second Friday of every month. If you guys aren't coming to the Starlight Comedy Night, then you are missing out. And we are having another great one like we always do on Friday, July 14th. I've got Spencer Mills. I've got Casey Malone coming back to the stage at the Starlight. So psyched to have her back. And we've got our friend Bradley McPherson coming back. Always a pleasure to see him as well. Laura and I bringing you the best of local and regional comics to the Starlight every month, second Friday. And of course, if you need to hear more of my dulcet tones, listen to the People Person Paper podcast with me and host Brian Sittler talking about every episode of The Office. We are deep in season 6 and we finally like it. I think coming on the heels of Double Date and now Murder, the season 6 is finding its groove and we're having a good time. You need even more of me, check out OK Geek, where I'm going to get even deeper into the comics, the video games as well. I've got some more stuff on that Philip Kennedy Johnson run of Hulk. And we are going to be talking a little bit about Tears of the Kingdom on the next episode. It's going to be coming out in just a couple days.
Nice.
And if you are sick of me, but you want to know what the fuck could spawn a Hilton, Stories with Mom is where we sit down with my 73-year-old mother and hear stories of her growing up and becoming the weird and wild woman she is today. All sorts of weird guest stars along the way, from fucking Frank Sinatra to Mick Jagger to Joe Namath 2 episodes ago. She meets the weirdest people. And she tells us all about it every week. So come listen to all the shows on the OLA Ministries Network.
And I forgot earlier, if you're not into podcasts like the People Person's Paper podcast, you might dig my podcast, which is the Pothead People's podcast persons. And it's,
that's it.
HBO's Thursday nights at 7. There we go.
Yeah. It's right after John Oliver.
First ever HBO.
Or just check out the People Person's Paper podcast.
Nice.
People Person Papal podcast.
Papal podcast.
Yes. We're reviewing every
new show.
Every single pope, every leader of the Catholic Church, covered week to week. This week, so excited. We are talking about Pius II.
Yeah, this one sucked too.
All evil rapists.
And in our next episode, Peter or Jesus, who was the better pope?
Yeah. Right. Spoilers, it was Peter.
Becky and I just watched Based on a True Story on Peacock.
Oh yeah?
Pretty sure it's Peacock.
Did you hear who's coming to Peacock?
Who?
It's a me.
I know. Right after I bought it for $20.
Of course.
Yeah, at least it was only 20. Like it was like 40 when it came out. And
Yeah.
then they were like, get it for 20 before it's on
The
Peacock.
only time a Nintendo thing goes on sale.
You know what though? I don't mind because like it did at least come with like some extra shit. You know, like there's some bonus features, like kind of like having a DVD back in the day. But even if Peacock eventually doesn't have it, we'll still be able to watch it.
I get a little let down every time I open that app and their theme song that loads isn't Katy Perry's like, I want to see your peacock. That's what I want to hear.
But yeah, it's Kaylee Cuoco and the guy who was the record producer or the record executive person. That doesn't control this.
Click on Christian Slater because I love him. Keep
No.
talking.
When in the Walton Goggins movie, in the, what is it, Hilton, what was it called?
Oh, that was Dreamin' Wild.
So the guy who played the record executive that comes down to meet him, he's in Based on a True Story. He's the male lead of that.
Okay.
And it basically is playing off of the obsession with murder podcasts and true crime podcasts. And
What's it called?
it's called Based on a True Story.
That's cool.
It's actually super funny. It's really good. I've become a huge fan of Kaylee Cuoco ever since The Flight Attendant. She's really
great.
versatile, and yeah, she's really, really, really good.
Well, I unashamedly like The Big Bang, so
That's fine.
I think she's
you're
great.
You're
I think
allowed to
she's
be
great.
wrong.
That's fine.
But
It's
she
funnier
is great,
when you
though.
get the jokes. The references. I'm kidding.
How long have we been recording?
Too long.
What time is it?
1:30.
2 hours.
An hour and a half of you telling us that your opinions are right.
I know, and
end on
have you-
I
I've-
like the Big Bang
No,
Theory.
well, have you not listened to anything else I've said? Maroon 5's great. Disco's awesome.
I will allow.
I've been walking a running joke here for 90 minutes, and that's what it fucking took you to get there. I don't love Maroon 5. The Big Bang sucked. Where have you? I'm kidding. I like all those things. No, that's been part of my lightening up phase of just being like,
I love it.
it's just going to make me giggle.
Yeah.
I think I spent too long in my youth of caring about things that were really heady.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I burned my brain out, and I'm like, I need to not think for 10 years.
For sure.
And I watch a lot of kid shows with my daughter.
Fair.
Oh my God, Care Bears is so good.
Well, watch Based on a True Story, and then listen to all of the podcasts on the OLA Ministries Network. And if you're out there and you love these dulcet tones and you want somebody to cut a radio ad for you, hit me up at zampinoproductions@gmail.com.
Or you can come see
If you
him at
need
his
an ad,
house.
if you need an ad for your 2023 Chevy Zendaya,
Is this right? Why don't we just tell them your address so they know where they can come see you?
no,
We're at
absolutely
2830.
not.
No.
Jesus fucking Christ, what's wrong with you?
Take it from me. I love you.